Hello and welcome to today's vlog post. Today I'll be sharing with you, well, I've worked with Golden Angel on a couple of occasions, and for any of you who have read any of her books, you'll know that she's got a rather specific set of interests. So when she invited me to narrate her retelling of The Lady and the Tramp in the style of quite hard BDSM, how could I possibly say no? I should probably put this out there right away. Although it's a retelling of a Disney cartoon, it is not for young ears, and neither is this vlog post. So if you like your heroes with more than a smidgen of dirt about them, and your heroines in this case to be rather submissive. Now, you know I love a strong female lead, but I've also got a bit of a penchant for a little bit of BDSM. So this I find to be quite a happy medium, so to speak. So today I'll be sharing with you book 14 in Golden Angel's Dirty Heroes collection. This collection is a whole retelling of fairy tales and Disney stories and things, with a focus on the darker side of the characters that is probably not investigated that much in the classic telling for children. So without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about this retelling. This is The Lady, written by Golden Angel. To stay safe in a world she's never known, this lady will pay a steep price. Adored, cherished, pampered, Lady Delilah Darling lives an enviable life. But when cruel hands drive her away from home and into the dangerous streets of London, she's suddenly frightened, vulnerable, and alone. Desperate for safety, Lady Delilah stumbles right into the arms of Henry Gaunt, the irresistible overlord of the London Underground. Known as the Tramp to his contemporaries, Henry rules his dark world with both charm and violence, bending the willing and breaking all others. Intent on claiming the newly fallen Lady Delilah for his own, Henry offers her protection for a price. Now Delilah is leashed, claimed, mastered, and as she accepts her fate as the Tramp's pet, she's left with one question: will she also be loved? I'm going to read to you a couple of pages of the prologue. Although I don't think this excerpt has any explicit material, it is a book for grown-ups. So if you're easily offended or have a more delicate disposition, I suggest that this one is not for you. So this is the first couple of pages of Golden Angel's The Lady. Prologue. The Tramp. Flesh met flesh with a meaty thunk. A howl of pain. Blood spurted. Henry Trampine examined the red liquid, streaking his knuckles in the flicking dim light of the tunnels. Hanging by his arms between two burly men, Cardinal Burr's mouth and nose poured blood down the front of his chest, dripping over his skin and hair, running in small rivulets to his stomach. His flaccid member hung between his legs, small and shriveled, barely visible under his rounded belly. "I'm sorry, Tramp," the Cardinal gasped. "I'm sorry. I'll get you the money. I will." Taller, more broad-shouldered than the average man, when Henry crouched down to the Cardinal's level, the other man still had to look up to meet his eyes. Bull and Frank, Henry's left and right-hand men, kept their tight grip on him. He was no match for either of them, but they never took chances. It was why Henry considered them his best men. "I know you will, Cardinal," he replied, his voice low and calm, almost reassuring. The Cardinal shuddered. "This is your final warning." Standing back up, he jerked his head, and Bull and Frank started dragging the man away, still spouting promises. Pulling a rag from the inside of his jacket, Henry wiped the blood off of his hand, his mind already moving on to other things. Strolling out of the tunnel, Henry barely noticed as people scurried out of his way, averting their eyes when his gaze passed over them. The nobility ruled Mayfair and their estates, and the Prince Regent ruled them, but here in the Warrens, the Tramp was king. Lady Delilah Darling. "Oh, how lovely!" Lady Delilah Darling exclaimed. She lifted her heels and turned very slowly on the dressmaker's pedestal, staring delightedly into the mirror. Behind her, Madame Bisset smiled broadly at Delilah before looking at Lady Jane Green, Delilah's guardian. The older woman's expression was much harder to read, but Delilah was not deterred. She was going to have this walking dress. It was utter perfection. The rose colour set off her colouring perfectly, making her hair appear more fashionably blonde. Blondes were more fashionable this season. Her cheeks pinker, and her wide hazel eyes brighter. The trim waist was quite flattering as well, emphasising her youthful figure. Twisting her lips, the skirt swished around her legs with a gentle shushing sound. Lady Delilah loved... Oh gosh, sorry, I can't get my teeth in. I might have to stop soon. Lady Delilah loved beautiful things. Moreover, she appreciated them. From the soft pink fabric of her dress to the pale lacy parasol she was already planning to use with it, to the song of the bird outside the window. Life was beautiful, especially for her. This was her first season in London, and she was determined to make the most of it, as it was likely to be her only season. Lord Green had been a fast friend of her late father and had agreed to sponsor her season, fulfilling her father's final request before his passing. Sorry, unprofessional phone buzzing. It was the best thing he'd ever done for her. As soon as her mourning period was over, Delilah had made her way to the capital and the Greens' splendid household. I'm going to stop there because not only is my voice going, but I can't get my words out and my phone's buzzing. I'd just like to mention that in my actual audiobook recordings, very few of those things normally happen. Those were the first couple of pages of Golden Angel's The Lady, a naughty retelling of The Lady and the Tramp. It is absolutely typical of all of the books I've had the pleasure of reading for her. And I think if you've read any of her other books and enjoyed them, you will enjoy this. And you will also be able to tell in the first couple of pages that it's Golden Angel who's written it. So you can listen to the whole book on the usual channels, Audible, Amazon, iTunes, I believe. You can find me at RebeccaMcKernan.com or on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Becca Tells Tales. Many thanks for listening and putting up with my endless unprofessionalism, and I will see you again soon. Mwah.